Welcome everybody. If you're tuning in to the Intuitive Minds, already know we're going to do the Self-Love Workbook tonight. I'm a little late, but happy Mother's Day to all our moms, and happy Mother's Day to our dads that are single parents, to our moms that are single parents. So yes, I'm just going to pull some cards from this deck. I don't even know what this deck is called anymore. Yeah, and it's Angela Rose's deck. I'm gonna pull a card from this deck. That's her new deck, and then I'm gonna pull a card from her old deck, and I'll pull some cards, just some affirmation cards, and then we'll get right in. So, self-love, folks. Have you ever worked on yourself? Hello, Katie. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mom. You might have fur babies. What self-love means? Comment on here. This is interactive. Feel free to comment even if you're replaying. I know Mother's Day, so some of us probably are sitting out by the campfire or finishing up with supper, or doing something for the moms. I got outside and I planted flowers, so that's what I did. The kids left me alone. That's kind of the best Mother's Day for me. Just leave mom alone and let her do her thing. So I have, when I first started my journey, if you asked me what self-love meant 2 years ago, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Today, 2 years into my journey, I can tell you that self-love to me, generalized, I can go into detail, but I want to keep this under a half hour. Self-love generalized to me is finding ways to fill my cup. Wholesome ways, nurturing my soul space first. And that's not selfishness, that's self-care. When I am, hello Amanda, when I am filling my cup first, then I have availability to reach out and, fill other people's cups. And I don't think we, agree or disagree with this. It's just my opinion. I don't think we should really dedicate ourselves to fill anyone's cup. They're responsible to fill their own cup first, and so are we. And honestly, this next comment or phrase is going to sound so cliche, but I have realized this year that it's so true that you cannot love yourself, not love others until you really love yourself. You might think you're loving others, but are you really loving them to the way they deserve to be loved, to the way they need to be loved, to like their love language? Are you using their love language to love them? I found that out the hard way, that I was not loving my husband the way he deserved to be loved, and showing him his love language. So this self-love workbook is coming really in handy. You can do it as a couple. My husband and I are actually doing we're doing the couples workbook. But this is a really good one if you've bought it and you're going to follow along with me. This is a really good one to work on it with your spouse, or just as you're working on it, just say, just ask your spouse the questions as you're asking them yourself, if you need a little conversation starter. So comment on here as I shuffle some more affirmation cards. This deck is the Dreamer's deck, and I got the Spirit Junkie deck. So I'm going to pull a couple cards here as we're still waiting for people to come on to get their book out. And then we're going to really quick go through the first chapter of the book, because a lot of this work is with you guys and within. What else I was going to say? I don't remember. Oh, this card, and then Spirit Junkie card. So let's just do this one. And our intent when we pull cards, I ask that I be a conduit. The message, I want the messages to flow from source to me, through me, to you, for you. And this is just how I interpret it. If you have a different way of interpreting the cards that I pull, super-rific. But comment on here what self-love means to you guys. And how, is there one thing that if you've been practicing self-love, you know, maybe put on there a goal or an expectation that you have out of this 8 to 10 week course. All right. So I'm going to just pull some affirmation cards just to get us kind of grounded and centered. Ooh, this is a good one. We all need some more sun in our life. I know that my purpose is far greater than just working and paying bills. I am more than my career. So right off the bat, what is coming through me is sometimes we fill our career cup because we think that if we're successful at our career, that success will overflow into other areas of our life. But if you have not heard me say before, and if you've heard anybody in the spiritual world or anybody that's in tune to their life, balance is key. So try to balance it out. Save some energy from your career cup so that you have energy to put into your mom cup and, you know, to your friendship cup. And so there's different, you know, when we fill our cup, we have to remember that there's a certain percentage of each, you know, of the cup that we fill it. We can't just fill it with one thing. We have to leave room for all the facets. All right, so that is the Dreamer's deck. That's a good one. I am more than my career. I learned that the hard way too, of putting too much into my job and then, you know, not having it reciprocated. Why should I work 110% when the next guy's only going to do 80? So, you know, I will do my best. And maybe some days my best isn't, you know, 100%. And then some days I'm better than my best. So it all adds up. It all adds up and it all evens out. All right, the next card is from the Spirit Junkie card by Gabrielle Bernstein. Let's see what universe has to tell us tonight. Ooh, creativity flows from me. I am a divine creator. I got a card earlier. Me and my husband pulled some cards tonight. And I got like the feminine card. And I am really finding my feminine side. I didn't really know what like feminine embodiment until I think it was like last April or the year before that. I don't remember. Angela Rose had a feminine embodiment class, and I highly recommend it, that you go to one. I know if you just Google it or go on Facebook. I don't know if Angela is doing one this year, but you could just, I know there's some over in the cities. And this is exactly what I was doing today. Like I was putting my creativity on Mother's Day into some plants that I bought. And it filled my me mom cup today. And it really filled like my nurturing cup. And it filled my creativity cup. And it filled my solitude cup because I was all by myself. I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't even have the radio on. So I want to ask yourselves, hello, Renee. Happy Mother's Day. I want to ask you, and Amanda, happy Mother's Day if I didn't already wish you a happy Mother's Day. I want to ask you moms and ladies that are out there, how do you find your creativity flow? How do you find it? What do you do? And comment on here if you feel comfortable. I love interaction. Part of loving ourselves is finding a little bit of bliss and something joyful. I try to do this every day. I try to find one thing that I do for myself, kind of by myself, but maybe for myself for sure. If you have to, do it by yourself. But just one thing a day that brings you joy. And I'll give you some examples as simple as, I don't know, I only wash my hair once a week. So when I take that time, that extra time in the shower to wash my hair, to really really work it in and then condition it and then brush it out and then blow dry, put some product in it and blow dry it. It sounds crazy weird, but for you gals out there that only wash your hair, once or twice a week, I think you can resonate with this, and I think you can relate to me that just that extra self-care, because I feel so different from my normal shower when I just shower my body and I don't wash my hair. It's that extra self-care, that extra time that I'm putting into my body, and I just and I can tell when I really need to wash my hair if I've lost track of okay, it's feeling like I need to wash it. Yeah, it just feels so different after that, that weekly hair wash. So that's a way, or, take a bath, or just take some time to listen to music or watch music videos, or, just play in the dirt, or just sit outside and watch clouds. Or if it's wintertime, journal or color. There's bake, or meditate, whatever you do, but try to find at least one thing at the end of the day that you can, be grateful for. And if you can't find a time every day to do that self-care, I recommend you try to find one day, an hour a week, that you can find something to do for yourself that puts you first, that fills your cup. A little assignment that you guys can do while watching here, and this is not out of the book, this is just coming intuitively, is write down 5 things that you would like to, hello Chantel, write down 5 things that you feel you would like to get better at. And then let's reverse it. Write down 5 things that you do right now for yourself. 5 things. And then to the right of that, I want you to write how, an emotion or some kind of feeling, or how that makes you feel. And then I want you to find, then to the right of that, I want you to write down 5 new things that you could do that fill your cup, that bring you bliss, that bring you joy, that bring you back to center, that's for you. All right, so 5 current things, one emotion or how they make you feel, and then 5 new things. All right, so let's start with that. We did that card. That was the Spirit Junkie card. I'm going to pull now from the old Self-Love Angela Rose deck. And I have given some away, so I have a couple decks combined here, because I give them away. So are you doing that, Chantel? I know you just came on here, but so we're writing down, we're brainstorming as we're about to get into the book. I'm just gabbing here because I'm a little late. Sorry about that. But we're just gabbing here and pulling some stuff just out from the ether, from the universe, intuitively. So write down 5 things that you're doing right now for self-care. Do not judge. Write down 5 things that comes off the top of your head. There are no wrong or right answers. And then feel free to comment on here, girls or guys. you know, maybe one or two of the things that I'd be really interested to see all the creativity of how you guys are finding ways for self-care. Now, for me, my self-love, my self-care is in my vehicle before I go into work. I give myself grace, and then I am grateful for something. And then I ask God to, you know, give a little extra love and light to my kids, to my spouse, and if there's a certain situation or a certain conflict or question or problem that I'm having, then I ask for my spirit guides, and I ask for a little extra help with that during the day. And just as I walk from my car to the front door of my workplace, it really, really sets the day. So that's one of the things that I have implemented a while ago. Long story short, I'm rambling here, folks, sorry. But we had to park kind of a ways away when there was construction going on at my place of business. And so I had like a good 5-minute walk. And so that's when I started like really doing this grace and gratitude and, you know, setting the day talk. And boy, there was some really good talks that me and myself had on the way to work. And, you know, it really did change my mood, because as soon as I hit that door, it was like, okay, let's do this. We got it. So I'm going to pull a card now from the self-love deck from Angela Rose. Boundaries. Ooh, we will get into this one. The boundaries card. I am kind, loving, and have clear boundaries, because it is important for me to love and respect myself and you. Come back home to you in action. Ask yourself this. Do my current boundaries feel clear? Answer yes or no. Do I need to refine my boundaries? Answer yes or no. Write them out. And then the mantra. I am grateful for this experience. I respect and love myself and others. So I thank you, girls and guys, for being here for this project, because this came to me out of a whim, like most of my ideas do. So I am grateful that you guys are here. All right, last deck we're going to pull, and then we're going to get right into the book. And I'm no expert, so I'm going to read from the book. I'm going to jump around, and I'm just going to use intuition tonight to guide me. Totally go with my gut, because I'm not prepared. I wanted to be, but the screen door. Hello, Sarah Michaels. Happy Mother's Day. The screen door decided to I don't know if I broke my toe, but it's pretty bruised right now, and I did that yesterday. So Spirit was telling me, you need to sit your ass down. So I did. I worked on my oracle card deck this morning, and then I filled that cup, and then I went and filled my Mom's Day cup and did what I wanted to do. So it was a really, really productive, good day, even though I had serious discomfort in my little pinky toe. All right, I'm going to pull from this deck. A soul yes. I really, really love this card. And this is so appropriate. So only say yes when it feels like a soul yes. I'm going to stop right there, because I feel like there's people that are going, what's a soul yes? A soul yes is when you ask yourself something and you kind of got to feel it. You kind of got to feel it in your body. I usually feel it in my solar plex. That's where a lot of, I'm an empath, so I usually feel it in my emotions. I can sense what other people are feeling, and for me it comes up. Maybe I'll start crying, and it's not that I am feeling one person's sadness. It's just the way that my emotions are letting me know, hey, you are absorbing, like you are feeling that person's energy. So only say yes when it feels like a soul yes. So ask yourself, I want to be, ask yourself with the intent, okay, I want to be able to answer this truly. I want to answer it wisely. I want to answer it from my gut, and help me feel it in my body. And it might feel differently. You might feel it in your toes. You might feel it in your ears or in your eyes or in your heart or somewhere else. But just ask, if you don't know what a soul yes feels like, ask the universe and ask your soul self to help you recognize what that feels like. And you might just have like an intuitive notion of, oh yeah, okay, I know. So you might not be able to feel it. But if you don't know it intuitively, then ask yourself, hey, help me feel what a soul yes feels like and where to recognize where it feels in my body. Only say yes when it feels like a soul yes. Trust that your body will guide you in making decisions. The body will feel expansive, light, and relieved. Trust in yourself. That's a good one. So I was explaining the card even before I was reading it. That happens all the time. All right, so those are the 4 cards. We've pulled cards. We've set energies. Let's get into the book real quick. All right, for those of you that are still watching, this is the Self-Love Workbook. It is a life-changing guide to boost self-esteem, recognize your worth, and find genuine happiness. Now, if you already have a book or you have a different book, get it out. I'm sure some of the principles are the same, and I'm sure maybe just in different chapters, but we won't go too deep tonight, but I just want to go through, if you have the book, please open it up to the contents, because there's introduction. The first chapter is self-love. The second chapter is self-awareness. I have much experience in the first 2. Chapter 3, self-exploration. Chapter 4, self-care, where we talked a little bit about that tonight. Chapter 5, self-esteem. Chapter 6, self-kindness. Chapter 7, self-respect. Chapter 8, self-growth. And that has a lot of chapters. So I'm thinking that we will do 2 weeks of the chapter 8. Now I recommend that if you want to do a little bit of this each day, that is a great thing to do. If you're like me, I can sit and listen to a movie or listen to whatever my husband's watching, and then I'll do my own thing. I like to just be in the room with him, so that if something comes up that I need his opinion on something, but I just like to be in his, even though we're not like communicating or dealing something together, I just like to be in the same room with him, because that fills my cup. You know, just his essence, just a little bit of his energy. So, and as the chapters go, they get more explicit, they get more detailed, there's more homework. So pick and choose which ones you guys want to do. But what I will pick one that we're going to do that I recommend, or that maybe I'll just pick one off the top of my hat. As you work through this book, you'll better understand, accept, and love your true self. There's activities and reflection prompts included. By the time you reach the end of the notebook, you will come to understand the value of self-love and how to utilize it day to day. Now, I have not finished the book. That's why I'm doing this, because I feel I really want to finish it. That's why I did the chakra one, because it was my way of staying accountable and staying committed, and I can teach you guys, and we can do it together. Some of these questions may be unfamiliar. If at any time you're working on this by yourself or through the live and you're like, okay, I just don't understand like how I'm supposed to answer this, I can help you with that. And maybe you won't know the answer right away. Maybe it will take a couple chapters in to kind of get to kind of get your reflection and your ways of thinking kind of stimulated. So don't feel like you have to answer all the questions, all right? Before you begin, take a moment to consider how and why you have arrived at this self-love journey. Although self-love is helpful, the reasons for embracing it may vary. Delving deeper, you find that the value of self-love changes at different phases in your life. The following prompts will help you to reflect on your purpose for setting out on a path paved with self-love. So, what I had said in the beginning, it was funny because that's the first question of the first things to ask yourself. It says, what has brought you to this path? So if you want to take a moment, and if you already know it, and write in here, and actually it's interesting because I wrote the date down. So when I started this, it was January 14th of 2021. So I'm actually going to go through this again with you guys. And I'm going to write down, what is it? It's 5/14. So I'm going to fill that in. And then the second question is, okay, so I'll just answer it. Get you guys get the ball rolling. What has brought you to this path? So I had gotten away from doing it, and there was a certain situation where I needed to find self-love for myself again because I was filling a cup that wasn't mine. And it wasn't like benefiting my cup. So what I was doing was not filling my cup by doing this. And not that that was the expectation, but I lost sight of what that really means. I'm getting hot. What that means when you start filling a cup that is not yours. And you have to fill your own cup first. So that's why I am doing this again. Then it says, why is this journey important to you? So write down a couple things. It says, I feel I am missing something and I embrace new tools and ideas to find it. Well, that's exactly the same thing that I would have to answer that again because that fits perfectly. Then it says, what do you hope to encounter along the way? So maybe write a couple goals and maybe do that that list of 5 here. If Sarah, if you're still watching, and Chantel, it was write 5 things you're currently doing. Hello, Octavia. Write down 5 things. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mom. I think you're a mom. Write down 5 things that you're currently doing for self-love. And then to the right of that, put how that feels. And then to the right of that, write down 5 new things that you would like to implement for self-love. Okay? So, self-love. So let's go to chapter 1 and take your time to fill these out during the lives or after the lives or however you guys want to do this. All right. Self-love, the active practice of accepting, caring for, and encouraging oneself. Just as water and air are vital, is the need to love and be loved. That is so important. The need to love and be loved. Now, we talked about that in the beginning, that I totally agree with the cliche that you cannot love someone unless you love yourself. You can't truly. So to truly love someone, you need to truly love yourself, inside and out. Flaws, good things, bad things, the way you look, the way you don't look, everything. You have to truly love everything about yourself and accept everything about yourself before you can accept something in someone else. Does that make sense? It is possible that a primary part of this necessity is the ability to love oneself. We need love from ourselves as much and perhaps more than we do from others. The process of self-love begins with the task of being able to appreciate you for you. Write that down. Appreciate you for you. Now, some guidance and some advice that I was given along my journey is, say that your love language is gifts. You like little gifts. And I do too. I like surprises. I like those spontaneous, out, not a holiday, not your birthday, just total random, because I thought of you gift. And I started doing that for myself. I started just random, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't need this, or maybe I've been looking at it and it's my Amazon wish list for so long, but I'm too cheap to buy it for myself. It's like, it's nice to, you know, appreciate gifts from yourself. So that's one thing that I learned to do, is not feel guilty for buying myself, you know, a little random gift. Now, keep in mind, we don't want to like go overboard and, you know, insult our credit cards by indulging in retail therapy. There's a difference. That's where balance comes from, okay? Self-love is wondrously empowering and validating, yet it is not an easy task. Self-love also requires the courage to reflect on where you are at the moment. That's why we did the where you are currently. The bravery to consider where you want to be. Those are the 5 things. And the tenacity to strive to be a better version of your true self. With the emphasis on the self, the journey is ultimately an independent one. Although it is helpful to unite with others who are on a similar path, you and I, at the end of the day, self-growth is predominantly dependent on personal effort. Let's say that again. Self-growth is dependent on personal effort. You get out what you put in. It's just like a workout or a diet, you know? The process of loving oneself is subjective experience. Just because a tip has worked for many does not mean it will work for you. I do not know if this workbook will work for you, but it's a great way to explore things that you have never explored before. So if you're just not feeling it in one chapter, skip it for now and move on and find a chapter that you do like, that is stimulating, all right? That gets the personal creative juices in your brain going, because you know I like to journal, so I'm coming from a fan of a journaling background. Honor your individuality as you attempt to follow the guidance provided in this book. I love that. As you attempt to follow the guidance. That's me. Attempt to follow rules. That's why I said, if you want to skip ahead and come back, whatever, do what's best for you. Self-love is an all-encompassing practice of recognizing your self-worth, being kind towards yourself, and fostering your self-growth throughout the course of your life. Just as the journey of self-love differs from person to person, the definition may vary as well. Take a moment to consider what self-love means to you. So I asked you to do that here in the beginning. So if you wouldn't mind, write it in now. Or if you need a time to, if you need to put a couple cards for yourself to get you kind of stimulated and motivated and get those juices flowing, do that. Pull your own cards. Otherwise, comment in here if you feel called to comment on here. This is a safe space. The importance of self-love. Feeling like, okay, these are just, okay. I'm going to skip that because that's like scenarios of other people. Like everyone else, we are all capable of making choices to infuse self-love into our lives. With brave choices, we can explore and reconnect with our genuine selves. That we can discover and embrace our strengths and embrace them to improve the quality of life. We can understand our areas of growth and explore them with patience and kindness as we embrace a self-loving lifestyle. Oh, I like that. A self-loving lifestyle. We will be able to care for and respect not only ourselves, but others as well. With a strong sense of love for ourselves, you may experience, without a strong sense of love for ourselves, you may be experiencing, and then on page 8, it has a list of everything that some things. Okay, so anxiety, carelessness, criminal behavior. I want you to circle some of the things in this workbook and then put the date, because at the end, or maybe in the beginning or in the middle somewhere, we'll go back to this and we'll take another inventory and see if our answers have changed. And then for sure at the end, someone remind me. I'm going to actually write it in here. Go to page 8. Revisit page 8. Okay, it's in there. I wrote it down. Let's get to, so kind of circle them. Self-love has been met with critique. What self-love isn't? Self-love isn't entitlement. When a person has a sense of entitlement, they believe that they are unconditionally owed something. This should not be confused with the idea of recognizing your worth. Okay, this is very important. So when I talked about before that I was filling someone else's cup, and it wasn't reciprocated. Now, I wasn't trying to fill this cup with the expectation or doing it just because I wanted something back. It was because I felt I deserved to get that reciprocation. Does that make sense? Depending on your perspective on humility and deservingness, you may find it difficult to assert you are worthy of self-love. If this is the case, it may be helpful to consider basic human needs. So, another good thing to do is to write down like your needs. Me and my husband did this. I was struggling with him not needing me. And I told him, I'm like, here's my needs, which he had. Oh, Tammy's watching. Hello. Hello, Jackie. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. I had asked him, he knew what mine was. And I said, I need you to tell me what your needs are because I want you to need me. If you cannot need me and I need you, this isn't going to work because I'm always going to be wanting you to fill my needs. You know, I'm going to fill mine first, but in a marriage, it's reciprocated. We have to want to meet our spouse's needs. It's a need. It's a need to need. And he just felt that he couldn't really trust me enough that he would let me need him. And that, you know, instead of doing everything himself, I'm like, let me help you with things. That makes me feel loved. When you allow me to help you do something and that you need me, it makes me feel worthy and it fills my cup and it's my love language. So we're working through that. So that's my example. Selfishness. Self-love is not selfish. I want everybody to really read this. Read carefully at page 9. Focusing on self-love is not the pathway to obsession. Although self-love is a reflective process in which one turns their energy inward, the benefits are not selfish. In actuality, in order to care for others effectively, one must first care for themselves. Prior to taking off an airplane, the flight attendant assures flyers that in the case of an emergency, regardless of who is nearby, it is critical to first put on your oxygen mask before helping others. Oh, this is a good one. In addition, whereas narcissism may be superficial and vain, self-love is quite the opposite. Self-love delves beyond the surface and isn't all rainbows and unicorns along the way. Along with recognizing your worth, needs, and goals, self-love requires the courage to distinguish your weaknesses, your challenges, and obstacles. Therefore, self-love necessitates humility, empathy, concern for the self, as well for others. And I'm going to add in 2 things that I think are very, very important that I have learned along the way in self-love is give yourself grace along with gratitude. Give yourself a break for making some mistakes or, you know, not always being there. And be grateful. Be grateful for the things that you have in your life, for the needs that are being met. All right. Self-love is not sinful. A sin is an act that is not only inappropriate, but often violent. Self-love is just the opposite. Self-love isn't meant to go against a principle or moral grounding. It is the enlightened journey to care for yourself in order to prompt a domino effect of care and compassion for those around you. Now, does that make sense with what I said in the beginning about you can't love someone else until you love yourself? That's what this is referring to. That's what this means. Due to varying concepts of what self truly entails, from time to time, individuals may view self-love as against their values and beliefs. Just as everyone is unique, their interpretation of scripture may also as well. If you are struggling with differentiating self-love from sin, it may be helpful for you to research and reflect on whether or not a conflict truly exists. I don't think, I mean, if you think that self-love is a sin, then I think you need to read another book. That's just my opinion. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip over that because that just goes into regardless of your faith. And I don't want to get into that because that's not what this is about. Self-love is an active, engaged process that evokes a wealth of positive benefits. It's not always easy. A critical component in self-love is recognizing your limits, needs, worth, asserting intrapersonal and interpersonal boundaries. While this all-encompassing process may include mental health days, massages, and indulging in your favorite home-cooked meal, it is not an exploitation of all things good. Ironically, perpetual pampering could actually be neglectful and hence distinct from self-love. That's why I said, do not insult your credit card with too much retail therapy. There is a difference. To an outsider without context, self-love could appear as an excuse. However, it is critical that you not use self-love as your hall pass to escape responsibility, accountability, and difficult situations in general. In contrast, true self-love can be enacted by taking accountability and responsibility as you courageously embark on arduous paths. Okay. Then Lucille Ball, I'm going to quote her, "Love yourself first and everything else falls into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world." I really, 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 really like that. So if I would recommend, if you have not started the book, I would say read page 1 through 10, because just those questions and stuff that I just read, there's more detail. I kind of like, I skimmed over. If you are a reader and you really like to read, I think those principles that we looked at are very helpful. So do that. And then next Sunday, we're going to talk about self-awareness. And I think, let's see here. I think we're going to do the homework of, we're going to do emotional equations on page 19. 100 feeling words. You have to explore emotional. Okay, so feel free to go ahead and do all of chapter 1. But like I said, if you kind of do the first part, those are kind of the goals, page 2 and 3. That would probably be a good start. But then on next Sunday, we'll talk about self-awareness in chapter 2. Is there any questions? Any questions at all? I feel I need to pull one more card. Please replay. I gotta get a different deck because I want to pull a card. I want to pull a card for Mother's Day. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna grab this one. because this is from the Unshakable Inner Peace. So I'm going to pull a card to close. Ooh, look at it's pink. To close on tonight's stuff that we talked about. So that's basically what this is going to be about. I will read excerpts from the book, and I will get you started. I'm not going to do the book for you. This is a way for you to like take time. I'm helping you set aside time to work on it yourself. So we'll go through the book, and then hopefully at the end, I try to want to do like half hour to 45 minutes, but that way you have time before you go to bed, while this is still fresh in your memory, to kind of either go through more pages or do some of the assignments. All right. Okay, we're pulling a card to set you guys in motion. Self-love for the collective for this coming week. Ooh. Ooh, look at this. It's like she's floating. And the number is 39. 3 plus 9 is 12. You are the truth seeker, awakening, actualizing, transcending. How can you ignite more grace to guide you? Ooh, that is a good question too. If you're into really extra credit, that is your extra credit question. How can you invite more grace to guide you? Ooh, that's good. I'm going to answer that question. How can I invite more grace to guide you, to guide myself? Well, I keep getting the slow and steady, and not doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I get that message quite a bit. But there's a reason why I stubbed my toe. Because I think I was getting kind of cocky that I was feeling better. Didn't have, injury in my neck anymore, and it's summertime, it's springtime, and the weather's been nice. And when it's nice outside, I just want to go, go, go. So how I can ignite more grace to me is just acknowledging that I don't have to go, go, go. I don't have to do that. I have to sometimes listen to the universe and take its advice. And that's, by taking its advice and listening to my inner self and really asking, that's how the rest of my cup can get filled, is by trusting in the universe. I like that. All right, folks. Again, happy Mother's Day. I hope that you chose to take a little time for yourself as a self, and a little time for yourself as a mom, because you deserve it and you're worth it. So Wednesday night, we will be doing Sagittarius. We're doing Sagittarius because we did Scorpio. We will do the zodiac sign, the crystals, the personality traits associated with Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarius, or somebody that is a Sagittarius, send them to this group on Wednesday night at 7. And then next Sunday, we'll try to, I think I'm going to do maybe, if 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, somebody please comment on here what works best, 6 or 8. But you can always do replay. All right. I will see you all on this page twice this week. All right. Have a great week. Happy Mother's Day. Love you all.